Hello, everybody. Welcome back to my channel. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Thank you so much for joining me today. Today is going to be another one of our series where you send in political questions and I go to my special political spirit guides to get some answers. And if you're new here, thanks so much for joining. I am channeling this. I'm channeling this about 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. So 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan. That can change to 50-50 or 80-20. Kind of depends on how readily available the information is. They send me information through pictures, through thought forms, or words, feelings, and all of this gets this kind of blizzard of information comes into my human side of this collaboration, and then I try to make sense of it and spit out what they're trying to say. So if it's a complicated message, sometimes I have to go more 80-20, or whatever. I have to take a pause. Generally speaking, they can speak to me while I'm speaking to you. Sometimes you will see me back up and rephrase something because basically I'm translating. If I don't have the translation just right, they'll let me know, and then I'll back up and reword it or clarify it. Okay, everybody always asks where can they leave questions, and I'll tell you that if you subscribe to the channel and you push the bell for the notifications, which is just a little bell icon, theoretically speaking, the YouTube algorithm will show you a post from me saying, hey, I'm looking for political questions. If you're not seeing those posts, it could be that you're watching this on a TV. They don't show posts so often on TVs or other devices. You can always go to my main channel by clicking the icon, and then you'll go to my main YouTube channel. You can click community, and then you'll see the call for questions. This is part 1. So part 2 will be forthcoming, and I can always accept more questions. So if you're here today and you would like to put in more questions, please do so. All right, let's get started with this program because there's a lot going on right now, you guys. I mean, literally, actually, before I start the questions, this is always dangerous because if I give the guides free reign, there's no telling where we're going to end up. I will say to you that something is brewing in September, and I mean brewing, a brouhaha is so what they want to say. A brouhaha is brewing. And this really looks like Trump, but it looks like others, possibly Roger Stone. There's other people that I can't quite get the message of. But the main thing they wanted to tell you is in mid-September, there's going to be a big pow, a big explosion, a big news cycle, mid-September, perhaps 14th, 15th. And I would also say thanks to the viewers who pointed out that the guides nailed Trump's his indictment day of August 14th. Apparently the guides told you this the beginning of August. Look out for August 14th. There's energy around August 14th. That ended up being the day that Trump was indicted. I am channeling. I don't remember my videos. I don't remember what I tell you guys pretty much at all. So I do appreciate you viewers when you catch something, letting me know in the comments. I appreciate the feedback. So the guides are saying kind of December. There's also something going on in December, but let's stay with September. They're like, we already talked about September. I was going to say September 15th, 14th, 13th, the middle of the month. Now, December, there's something apparently they want to talk about around December 5th. Now, everybody has free will, right? So if this big announcement is based on corroborating evidence from a witness and that witness decides not to corroborate, then obviously that changes everything. All of these people have free will. It sort of makes this a little bit hard to predict because we have a lot of moving parts, and each one of them is probably going to hopefully make the decision best for them and not best for Trump. That means people might come into play or go out of play depending on their own free will. Okay, so let's get started. BS Murph. B Smurf. Be a Smurf. I don't think your name is Be a Smurf, but BS Murph 6400 says, They're wondering about 45's Secret Service team. The Secret Service team that 45 had, which is Trump, has been on BF Smurfs. I'm so sorry. I keep adding an S. It is a Smurf, a B Smurf. I'm sorry. You guys do this to me. I'm stuck. I can't help it. It's like the guides are stuck on a broken record. Anyway, the question is, there has got to be some consequences for them in the Jan 6th incident. Do the guides see any? And I will say, yes, the guides do see any. They're showing me right now, President Biden is sitting at a table saying, and he has some papers, physical papers, and he puts them down on this table. It's this big meeting table. It's got a very high gloss finish to it. And he puts his hand on the papers and he slides the papers away from him. Okay. Now, what are these papers? The papers are basically not good enough reprimand for certain Secret Service. So the people in charge of the Secret Service were trying to sort of, I want to say the words, broker a deal with the DOJ, with Biden, to say, look, what if we just slap them on the wrist? They know what they did was wrong. They're good people. They're going to lose everything. I mean, they're going to lose their pension. They're going to lose their job. Some of them could even be implicated criminally. Do we really want to ruin these people's careers, these good people's careers that have been with us for 15 or 20 years because of a crazy past president? Again, this person is saying Trump is the one. The argument, it goes something like, these people had to do what the president said. They were not in a position of free will. And Biden is rejecting. Now, this could be a metaphor, but I see him put his fingers on these papers and he slides it back. Not good enough. Not good enough. You're not going to get my seal of approval. If that's what you're looking for, you're not going to get it. I can't do anything about these Secret Service people, but I'm certainly not going to put in a good word for them. I'm not. Biden is incensed. He's literally, I feel anger in his chest. He's incensed that someone would ask him to cover up. To him, what he says, what he's thinking is, this is a cover up. You know, Biden is saying, let the chips fall where they will. These adults made decisions. Let the DOJ sort it out. If it's criminal, it's criminal. I'm not gonna rubber stamp this. Biden is like, I'm not gonna rubber stamp this. So without Biden's call, hey, take it easy on these guys, you know, Trump is blah, 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 it's going to go a lot worse for them. They're sort of being hung out to dry, meaning there's no support. They have no support. This was a last ditch effort by this person to go have counsel with the president and plead their case. And Biden said, no, if the DOJ finds that they broke the law, they broke the law. I'm not involved. I'm not getting involved. You're not getting my seal of approval. So yeah, I think that what we're going to see is there's going to be some careers ruined, is what they're saying right now. Some careers will be ruined, is what they're saying. Now, I do think that there are a few Secret Service people that were peripheral that will be used as witnesses, right? I didn't do it, but I saw officer so-and-so on the phone or say, or whatever the evidence is, right? So there are some peripheral officers that will kind of get off by the skin of their teeth, but they'll also do so because they're going to have to be a witness against their colleagues. And there could be a few that even just step down, that just say, I would rather step down than be fired, or step down than be a witness. Okay. So yeah, there is going to be some justice. So that's good news. Okay, let's move on. Kendu 52 says, will the Supreme Court protect Trump and assist in his re-election? It's such a good question. Well, because a lot of our Supreme Court is rogue, to be honest with you. They obviously don't care about ethics. They don't care about anything. They simply are thumbing their nose at the law, at settled law, and at the citizens of the United States. So the question is, will the Supreme Court protect Trump? I'm going to end it right there for a minute. Will they protect Trump? Will anything go before the Supreme Court regarding Trump? Will it go all the way to the Supreme Court? There's energy around that. I'm sorry to say. I wouldn't say that it's 100%. I would say the energy is right now is about 55%. Frankly, much more than I thought. Susan would have answered this no. Susan would have answered this no. But the guides are saying there's some energy around this, that it could get to the Supreme Court. Also because the Supreme Court could do some kind of like ruling out of, well, right. Oh, right. So what they're saying is a lot of these court cases are going to be coming to fruition, so to speak, in early next year, February, March, April, May. And then the Supreme Court rules in the summer. Plus they could always rule out of court. You know, we have this shadow court because the petitioners that want to be before the Supreme Court, there's too many of them. So each judge rules on certain things. Yes, it's coming to the Supreme Court. No, it's not. So there's like a 55% chance that it will go to the Supreme Court. Your second question is assist in his reelection. No, that's a flat out no. That's just a 100% no. So that's interesting, 55% that it could go before the Supreme Court. But then I hear struck down. So, but the answer to both of your questions is, well, it may go before the Supreme Court, correct, but it will be struck down. And no, they're not going to assist in his reelection. Okay, can do 52. Thank you so much. John White says, what day, month, year, or decade, covering all his bases here, will the name Donald Trump not be mentioned on any of the main media outlets? When will he fade from his public, view? Okay, you're asking day, month, year, or decade. Well, let's go with year. I'm going to go 25, year 2025. So next year he's going to be all over the news. In 2025, he's going to be gone from the news. Just gone. So there's your answer. I don't know about what month or day of 2025. I'm going to say right now by February of 2025, which means that he could still be in the news in December of 24, right? That's what that means to me, is that he still has energy to the end of next year, or at least newsworthy information about him. I don't want to say energy because I'm not sure he's going to be alive. So when I said energy, they made me correct energy. It's not, he may not have energy. He may have newsworthy information. Did you see the way that I corrected that? That's why, because they said energy, not so much. So thank you so much for your question, John White. Melissa Morris says, could the spirit guides comment on the mental health of the United States? Many significant issues, traumas since 9/11. Are we moving forward on more positive ways to address as a collective? Melissa Morris Hillman, yeah, this is a really good question. And frankly, probably a whole video could be done on this. We are really in the middle of it. The guides would say that they're just showing me a visual, if you will. We're going along, let's say, Obama presidency, and then we went into the Trump presidency. We literally fell into a ditch, maybe with dirty, stinky, smelly swamp water. We're still in the ditch. Even though Trump is no longer president, we're still in the ditch. And that is because of the pandemic did a number on us psychologically. All of these school SHOOTINGSs are doing a number on us, not only school, but public violence, attacks, and the division between our families, the division between us and our coworkers. We can't talk about politics, the division that we feel in the United States. All of this, we're still in the middle of it. Now, what I see is we're getting a real opportunity to work on the soul lesson, to learn the lesson. We kind of didn't learn the lesson of the pandemic, which was we're all in this together. The soul lesson of the pandemic was I protect you, you protect me. That didn't go so well, right? Some people said, forget you. I'm going to go out and do whatever I want. And others of us had to work. We were essential personnel, or we had to be out there with those people who had the attitude of, screw you, I'm not going to wear a mask, screw you, I'm going to get in your face, I'm not going to social distance, whatever. So that was the lesson. We didn't do so well. The guides are saying we might have gotten a B, which is better than I thought. Maybe a C plus or a B, better than I thought, honestly. But anyway, so the collective is what they would say is our collective energy is unwell. We're not well. We're not centered. We're not loving. We don't feel well. Humans in general, everywhere, don't feel themselves. They don't feel well. It's because of this energy that we're sort of this ditch energy that we're in. Now, we have nowhere to go but up, to be honest with you. I don't see us going any deeper. That's really good news. I don't see us going significantly deeper. Yes, a little deeper, but not significantly deeper. I don't see anything way worse happening to us. And I see us coming out of this in 26 is what they just said. So we have 3 years. And that sounds depressing, I know, but forewarned is forearmed. If you know that this energy is going to be kind of the energy the word they're using is languishing. We're not really taking action. We're not really trying to get out of the ditch. We're kind of languishing. And forewarned is forearmed. And what you can do yourself is to mind your own garden, mind your own vibration. It can be really depressing, destabilizing, isolating to feel, if you're an empath, to feel this energy. You don't have to feel it. You don't have to be in it. You don't have to be in the ditch with the people that choose to be in the ditch. You can climb out of the ditch. You can hose yourself off and you can walk over to the flower garden and sit down in the flowers, right? And the more of us that do this, the better energy that we emanate, the lighter the energy is going to be, and the more people can get out of the ditch. Okay. So in practical terms, it means don't watch the news so much. Refocus your mind, refocus your energy on something pleasant or on learning something. Take a class, call up some friends. You're not going to be the same person you were before the pandemic, but that's okay. So who are you now? What kind thing can you do for you? And that's going to help you get through this. Again, helping yourself is helping others. If you show your kids that you're taking care of yourself, you're leading by example. If you're harping on them to take care of themselves, nobody's taking care of themselves. So lead by example. Don't worry about everybody else. Fix you. When you fix you, your energy goes up. When your energy goes up, those around you will also be buoyed by that same energy. Okay? Hope that helps, Melissa. Take really good care. A healer within says, do you see Fani Willis having a political career post-Trump? That is such a great question. Oh, I don't know what that is. I don't understand that. Is there a deputy? Okay, not a deputy like a deputy sheriff, but is there a deputy position like a deputy? You know how the government has certain positions that call them deputy something? I don't know. I don't understand why they're showing me this. I get deputy, I get a star, I get a badge. I don't think she's going to go into law enforcement. But what is her career post Trump? Up. I see her going up. I see her being acknowledged. I see her being feted, celebrated. I see her. She's really celebrated at some big event, maybe of her colleagues, maybe of prosecutors or whatever, DAs or whatever in the country. But she is celebrated. She's going up. I see her star rising. Maybe that's why they wanted to talk about a star. I see her star rising. So, yeah, she's gonna be good. Julie wants to ask the guides. Okay, she wants to ask the guides about something she heard on another channel. These people said that Trump had made a soul contract to come here and basically destroy the United States. I'm having a hard time with this. I don't understand it. In my understanding, we could have learned without such horribleness. Oh no, we couldn't have learned, Julie, because honestly, even with Trump, we have not learned. So we needed Trump, and frankly, after he's gone, the lesson continues through his MAGAs and a few of the people who will escape prosecution. So we did need that. Now, whether or not he came here, I don't feel like he came here to destroy America. I know that's how we see it, but Spirit doesn't see it like that. No one is being destroyed. That Spirit is like, that's not really what happened. He did come here with the unique set of personality traits and also birthright, being white male and in a certain family. He came here with all of the ingredients, let's say what they want to say, to shake up our country. I think that had he not done it, somebody else would have. Spirit, there were 3 or 4 people that could have done the same thing that he's done and possibly done it differently, possibly even done it worse. But yes, he is giving us an opportunity to learn the lesson, to come together, to learn that even though he wants to divide us and he has racist ideas, that we can reject that, right? Humans, Americans, United States citizens can reject that. That's what we have to do to learn the lesson, right? And not all of us, because, humans are like cats. We're not all going to agree on anything. But the majority of us, right? These are the guides are saying these are valuable lessons, important lessons, but more different. They want to go back to valuable. Humans, I would say, Americans don't understand how important this lesson is and how valuable it is. Like, it's almost like they're giving me something of value. They're saying, here's gold. Here's some gold bars. Here's the most valuable thing you can imagine. This is what has been given to you. We have an opportunity to acknowledge, to accept, to stand for, all of us together. This is our opportunity. It's big. It's a great big gift. They see it as a gift, because if we didn't have this gift of Trump, we wouldn't know about all this racism. We wouldn't know about all this dark money controlling things. It could just continued under the surface. And whereas, yes, it's above the surface now, and it's frightening, it's scary and ugly, all the racism and all of the grift and the criminality and the dark money, it is, but we can see it. It's a gift to be able to see it. It's a gift to be able to say, what do we want to do about it? Versus it being under the rug and the same things happen and the same racism, the same grift, but it was all under the rug. We were blissfully ignorant, right? Now we're not ignorant, and we're certainly not living in bliss, but we have an opportunity to be aware and to stand in the power, to take control, stand in the power of righteousness, of justice, of equality for all Americans, all United States citizens. Okay. So that's what I would say to that. Let's move on. Key 106833 says, if the Republican Party is on a downward spiral, do you see a new political party or an existing third party becoming more prominent? If so, what kind of politics will this party embrace? This is a great question. Many months ago, back when the Jan 6 was meeting, the guides talked to you about Liz Cheney. And they talked to you about the fact, well, first of all, that she's a formidable opponent. Do not trust her. She's not to be trusted. Second of all, that she was going to rid the Republican Party of this outside money. So the way they show it to me is Liz Cheney, for entertainment purposes only and allegedly, she would be all about the oligarchy. I mean, she would be all about this, the control of the people by corporate interest. She's perfectly fine with that. She voted with Trump over 90% of the time. Where the buck stops with her is that she's against foreign money controlling citizens, United States citizens. And so that's why there's a rift. You have a lot of these, especially like the Freedom Caucus and the Congress and more, that are allied with foreign interest money. That foreign interest money probably starts with an R, but it could also start with an S. It could also start with a C, right? Those people want to control and divide and crash and burn the United States of America because we're king of the hill. We're the one that everybody wants to knock off of the hill. So if we can be destabilized, if we can be seen as a mockery, if our elections can be seen as a mockery, if our politicians can be shown to have been bought off, they're thrilled. They've done their job. Liz Cheney is all about, theoretically, allegedly, being bought off by corporate greed, but she wants it to be American corporate greed. So she's incensed that these foreign countries would come in and try to take over our country from the inside out. That's the only difference between Liz Cheney and them. She wants to take over the country through American greed. So in this way, she wants to get rid of them. And I mean, she feels bombastic. She feels vile. She feels absolutely crazy mad about this. In her mind, American citizens have always needed big daddy corporations to tell them what to do. Americans aren't smart enough to figure it out for themselves, and that's okay. And that's the Republican way, right? That is the Republican way. The Democratic way is let's all figure this out together. So, yeah, Liz Cheney, they told you this a long time ago. Liz Cheney absolutely is going to either do one of two things, and they said this to you a year ago, if not more. She's either going to take the Republican Party apart, throw out every one of them that she can that has any connection to outside money, foreign money, and then she's going to get in control of it. She's either going to get in control of the Republican Party, or she's going to start her own party. Now, when I say get in control of the Republican Party, she's kind of in a bit of a bind because her state doesn't like her. Her state does not like her. They got rid of her. But what they just showed me was this is this is why, if you watch my videos in the past, I get triggered about Liz Cheney. Because what they just did was, if you just saw me look to the side for a moment, I got two things happened. First of all, I heard Illinois. Now, don't get upset. Let's be calm. And then I looked to the side and I saw a blue box that happens to be the blue box on my Word document. Blue. I saw blue. They showed me blue. What does that mean? Blue state. Then I saw Illinois. What she could do is transfer, go to live in a blue state. Maybe it's Illinois. Maybe it's some other place. Or a purple state. Any place that she would have a little bit more of an edge. Now, here's the thing, guys, and this is why I was so triggered about her. When she was on Jan 6, you guys, my viewers, were like, oh, Liz Cheney is such a patriot. Oh, I really like her. Oh, she's really good. I would vote for her. My head wanted to explode. She's not a patriot. She did what any United States of America citizen should do in that situation. But because she's a Republican, she gets extra credit for doing what any citizen should do. We don't need to give her any extra credit. She did what she should have done. Right? I'm sorry. She did what she should have done. She did what all the Democrats did. Why do we give her extra credit? Because she's a Republican acting like she's got a soul and a heartbeat. Right? Okay. So here's where I gave you guys the warning all those months or a year ago. What her game plan is, once the deck is cleared. Now that means, once Giuliani's out, once Trump is out, Gates is out, Boebert is out, MTG is out, Jordan is out. Once she can clear enough of the deck as possible of these problematic traitors, then she'll start making her moves. She's got to get out of Wyoming. It's not going to support her. She's going to have to go somewhere else. In case you haven't noticed, Republicans do this all the time. They literally don't even live in the districts they represent. And I think it's a law, but so far nobody seems to hold them accountable. So this is not out of the realm of possibility. There's a playbook here that is being used. Now, here's where it gets scary. She could move to the center. She's already got name recognition out the wazoo. She was probably the most, in the top 2 or 3 of the most liked of all of the Jan 6 politicians. Let's call them politicians. She was like in the top 3. She's got name recognition. She's got clout now. She's got clout to spend. Now, if she moves to the center in her rhetoric, then she can capture even Democrats. This is what keeps me up at night. Because she voted over 90% with Trump. Over 90% with Trump. She's not moderate. But she's already moved a little moderate in the sense that she was against gay marriage and her sister got gay married and she was against it. And then sometime later she came out and said, you know what? I changed my mind. I've updated my thinking about that. Now I support it. All she's got to do is come over another notch and say she supports abortion. Come over another notch and says she supports a higher minimum wage. Then all of a sudden, she's a threat. That is why the spirit guides call her a formidable opponent. Okay. Now, I don't see her being president, but I do see her game plan is to recreate the Republican Party in her image, and she's a Cheney. In her image. I've told you guys this. I know I have a lot of new viewers, but in the past, the guides have said the Republican Party is going to swing to the middle. They have to. They don't have a choice. They don't have a choice, you guys. American people do not support their platform. End of story. The majority of the American people do not support them. The only reason they're in office is because of gerrymandering. And all of this is going to start getting sorted out. So once the gerrymandering starts getting sorted out, number one, but number two, forget gerrymandering. You're going to see waves of numbers at the polls that are going to overcome the gerrymandering. Not in every district, not in every case, but in enough cases that we're going to walk away with the Senate and the House majorities. So the Republicans are going to have to play ball. They're also going to play ball because several of their members are going to be convicted in jail. And the ones that aren't in jail are going to be indicted and being investigated. And that's going to cause all the other Republicans to sit up and act right, the way you do when the principal walks into your schoolroom. All of a sudden, your back is ramrod straight and you're not fidgeting and you're not talking to your neighbor anymore. That's how the Republicans are going to be. They're going to be on notice. Now, that's a perfect situation for Cheney to come in and take over. But before she can take over, she needs these people out of the way. She needs these Freedom Caucus people out of the way. And I've told you guys this many, many times. Think of the Pink Panther with the plunger and the dynamite. That fuse might be a mile away. But she is the Pink Panther behind the rock going clunk. You're never going to see her nail fingerprints on anything. She's going to be completely way over there when it implodes. But I promise you, she had everything to do with it imploding. Everything. Because it's in her best interest. Her line to power is blocked by the Freedom Caucus. So guess what? She's going to get rid of them. So that's what I see. It's fake. When the Republicans come to the center, it's not even, it might be to the right of center, but it's certainly not, 5 counties over to the right. It's close enough, but it's all fake. It's nothing that she says is real. Her real votes were with Trump. She just doesn't like that certain countries own us. That was a bridge too far. Same thing with Pence. Bridge too far. Well, and also jail, a bridge too far for Pence. He wasn't going to go to jail for Donald Trump. Neither was Cipollini. A lot of these people were like, Barr was another one. I'm out in December. He was like, yeah, I see where this bus is going off the cliff. Bye-bye. Right? Not saying these people are honest or trustworthy or would be good stewards of a vote, of our country. They just didn't want to go to jail. All right, let's move on. Ron Brock says, good Ukraine update. Lots going on with Ukraine and Russia. Are Ukraine armed forces getting closer to a major breakthrough? I'm going to break your question up into 2 questions. Yes, they are. And again, the guides were telling me about 4 months ago, F-16s, the fighter jets, F-16s, fighter jets. Once Ukraine has the fighter jets, game over. It is really a huge turning point. Now, Ukrainians don't speak English. F-16s are American and everything is in English. All the controls, the manuals to learn how to fly them is in English. So these Ukrainian fighter pilots have been in all kinds of countries being schooled in learning the F-16. It was thought that the F-16, that they would take like 8 months or 12 months to learn how to fly the F-16, because right now they fly Russian planes in MiGs. They are learning it in half the time. They're learning how to fly these planes in half the time. So what the guide said before is now coming true. These pilots are learning how to fly F-16s. The F-16s are available to them. There was a time when the United States was like, we're not giving you F-16s. They didn't want Ukraine to attack Russia. They didn't want Ukraine to go across the border because they just didn't want this escalation and NATO and blah, blah, blah. I'm not saying I agree with it, but then Ukraine did it anyway. They're doing it with drones. So now, since it's already been done, the energy is just shifted. Let's put it that way. Yes, Ukraine is about to have a major breakthrough. That has to coincide with Putin going bye-bye, to be honest with you. Because as long as Putin is alive, he will stop at nothing. He will get the money from wherever he can. He'll take his population and put it through the meat grinder. He does not care. There's no bottom. There's no bottom. There's no quitting. There's no surrendering. There's no bottom. So the other good thing is that some of the timeline that the guides talked about in the very beginning, I did 3 videos on Ukraine in the very beginning, and all 3 of them have come completely true. And we are here, map.now. They've come true to this point. So now one of the timelines from those videos is that I saw civil unrest in Russia, meaning protest, riots, internal civilized civil protests. That is starting to happen again. That is part of, it seems to be part of the gears that have to engage for all of this to work out. So I see timelines, and then I kind of sit back and wait and see if the timeline I saw is going to start coming to real life. When it starts coming to real life, then I know we are going to follow that timeline. It is free will, right? But I predicted here, whether or not it comes true or not, you guys have my predictions. So yes, I think that Putin is on his last legs. Also, for whatever reason, Putin and Trump are energetically connected. Now, it doesn't mean that if Trump goes down, Putin goes down immediately. There is an energetic cord between them, and it does mean that if Putin goes down, it won't be long before Trump goes down, or vice versa. They are attached energetically. One cannot be alive without the other. I don't know why. I haven't really wanted to don my energetic hazmat suit to go into double trouble, to go into Putin and Trump to figure out why they're energetically attached. All I know is when one goes down, and some period of time, the other one is going down too, I would say within 6 months to a year. So I feel like by Christmas, by Hanukkah, by December, by Kwanzaa, we're going to have a new understanding of the war in Ukraine. I am seeing much more land taken back. Perhaps all of the Donetsk region is taken back to the border, perhaps even the border to Russia. All that land that was annexed all those years ago is now back in Ukraine's hands. The problem has always been Crimea. Go back and listen to my first videos. Crimea is the problem. Of course, am I saying the right thing? I think I am. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I am. Russia wants Crimea. They want that port, but they want that land. And one of the things I've told you guys that could be a possibility is that one of the peacekeeping things that could happen once Putin is gone is that Ukraine could do a 100-year lease on a port in Crimea and put all kind of stipulations. You know, like if one thing is broken, the lease is broken. If you ever step over the line toward us again, the lease is broken. But it could be, this could be a broker deal that I feel like could work, because when I bring the new person in who's taken over Russia, and I've talked about this a lot, it feels like a general or a military person. It could be an oligarch who is partnering with a general, or who has military energy, or it could be a general. This person, this energy that takes over Russia, they want Crimea. That's what they want. They don't care about anything else. They want Crimea. So this is a bargaining. So now, okay, we got a ball game. We know what you want. Now let's see if Zelensky will make that a deal. I'm not talking about giving them Crimea. I'm not talking about that, because I've told you guys, Zelensky will crawl over broken glass naked to get all his land back for his people, or die trying. He's not going to give an inch. He's not going to give a square. He may rent it. He may rent it. He's not going to give anything. This is Ukrainian land, and he's going to get it all back. So your next question is Prigozhin really dead? Somebody else has another question in here about Prigozhin. And the other question is not next to this question, so I can't say your name. I'm sorry. But the other person wanted to know because they said that the readers are not in agreement with whether Prigozhin is dead. Now, generally speaking, majority of us, even though we don't watch each other, we're on the same page, which if I were you, the viewer, that would make me feel really good about things, right? Because, all right, so, you know, I got 3 psychics that don't watch each other are coming up with the same message, then, you know, you could take it to the bank probably. But apparently, according to this person, some of the readers are saying Prigozhin isn't dead. I got that he's dead. I'm a medium, so I asked my guides, is he dead? And if you know me, I asked 3 or 4 times, like I'm like the 3-year-old, but why, right? I asked 3 or 4 times. He's dead. Let me look at it again. I can understand why he wouldn't be dead. There was another plane. There were 2 planes. He could have been in the other plane. Why would he be listed on the manifest of the plane that got blown up? Wouldn't he be smarter than that? Well, the bottom line is he really trusted Putin. He really thought that even though he screwed up and he overstepped his bounds, he really thought that they would be like buds, you know, like Putin led him to believe that everything was okay. But Putin needed to do that to get everything secure and to find out who in his own army let Prigozhin's army just drive by and who in his own commanders were perhaps on the wrong side. So Putin took that 2 months or 3 months to figure out who's who. And then he took out Prigozhin. Now, the thing I think that could happen that has energy around it, and I haven't really asked much about it, but what if it wasn't Putin that took out Prigozhin? What if it was somebody else that took out Prigozhin? Because I'll tell you, when I went into the energy of when I went into Putin's energy after Prigozhin, and I did a video that day, when I went into Putin's energy, he was not feeling like king of the hill. He was not feeling like, you know, Billy Badass, as we say in the South. He was feeling like freaking out. He was freaking out. Witness or some, what do you call that? Spy craft suggests that he actually rushed back to the Kremlin. He doesn't live there. He rushed back to the headquarters that night. I don't know. Putin feels shaky. He feels, what I said that day was Putin felt like his back was against the wall. If you just killed your enemy, would you feel like your back is against the wall? But if your enemy killed your enemy, then all of a sudden you're scared, you know, to death, right? So that's what I think is more interesting. That's the more interesting energy here. It's not whether or not Prigozhin is alive. Is who killed Prigozhin, right? So initially I got that Putin did it, but you have to be careful with Putin because he's very good at this. Other countries that are not Western believe in psychics. They hire psychics. They hire all kinds of interesting mind control and blocking and psychics. I mean, their people believe in this. So Putin sends out energy that is decoy energy all the time. You cannot trust what you get from Putin. You're never going to get this straight. But I did not get his energy. I saw him. He wasn't able to block this. He was scared. So that's very interesting. But anyway, I think the Ukrainian war is coming to an end. And I think there could be a breakthrough in December that would be even maybe the beginning of peace talks or some sort of deal happening. But if not, if that energy doesn't have enough oomph behind it to come into reality, I feel like something big is happening in March of next year. And I see really de-escalation is the word they want to use by April. So there's an opportunity for de-escalation in December. But if not, then another 3 or 4 more months. Okay, let's move on. And hey, and if you guys get anything on who could have killed Prigozhin, let me know in the comments. Let's start the psychic commenting. All right, let's move on. Raghavan. Oh my God, I should have tried to read you. Raghavan Pandali. I'm so sorry. I cannot say your name, especially because it's all in one word and I can't do it. Okay, my apologies for butchering your name. Okay, so your question is, will we be replacing DT, Donald Trump, with Vivek, who's DT cubed? It's true. It's kind of like a lot of these people looked at Trump and said, how can I be 100% worse? I mean, look at DeSantis, right? How can I be 100% worse? We're not going to be replacing, well, I can't answer it that way. Okay. If your question is, will Vivek be the presidential candidate? No. If your question is, will he replace Donald Trump in the sense of being a mouthpiece for horribleness? Yes. Yes. He because Donald Trump is going to be muzzled, they're saying. And so he's going to be looking for a proxy. He's going to be looking for somebody else to be his mouthpiece. Now, I don't think Vivek doesn't want to be his mouthpiece. Vivek wants to be president. But in the sense that Donald Trump can spur him on and whip what Donald thinks that whipping Americans into a frenzy and a froth of civil war is going to put pressure on the DOJ, and they're going to say, okay, call off your MAGA crazy people. We'll do whatever you want. Honey, that ship sailed. That ship sailed when y'all ran all over the Capitol. Okay? Americans are tired of your ass. Okay? So you can just give up on that. We got people like Fani Willis that just lives to put people in jail. We got people like Jack Smith that lives to put people in jail, and more. Tish James, all of them live to put people in jail. Judge Chutkan. This is the new world of law and order. So the problem is, though, our laws aren't really what they thought they were. We didn't realize there were so many holes in our laws. But where we can get a law to stick to a crime, they're going to do time. End of story. So it's not going to work. Whatever he's planning is not going to work. It's just not. Is it going to make life a little bit worse? Yes. Is it going to make life a little less fun? Yes. Are you going to have crazier people? Yes. But as they break those laws, they're going to be put in jail. So whatever explosion, so to speak, of violence that happens is not going to be long-lived, because the DOJ has gone through the FBI, has gone through the ATF, has gone through all the different branches and pretty much put everybody on notice. We are going to act swiftly. We're going to get these cells. We're going to get these people before they act. And that's that. So you're going to have a lone wolf here and there that they can't predict or find. But this organized craziness, not so much. As soon as they do anything, they'll be in a jail somewhere. Let me just do one more, and then I'll go to part 2. And Colleen Peterson says, do the guides see Congress passing a bill to stop taxing Social Security? This is an excellent question. Do we see Congress passing a bill to stop taxing Social Security? Yes, not, how do I describe this? Not across the board. But if your Social Security is less than, how are they going to do that? Oh, okay. If your Social Security, if your check is less than $25,000 a year, then the taxes are going to be nil, like nothing, basically. or not taxed. If your check is say 25 to 50, then you're going to get taxed this. If your check is 50 to 100, whatever a year, then you're going to get taxed this. So it's going to be in segments. I don't know if those numbers are correct. I'm just giving you an example. I don't know how much they pay maximum for Social Security. I'm just saying that they're going to segment it. It's sort of like a sliding scale based on the lower end to the upper end. But I don't know that this could be talked about. You might see legislation in 24. I don't know. I just don't know if we're going to have the oomph to get it over the finish line in 24. I think it might be 25. It might even be 26. But this is coming. This and a lot more is coming. Also, like there's a lot of taxes, like taxes on healthcare benefits, right? Like Americans are paying taxes on stuff that they didn't have to pay taxes on before. That's because of Republicans. So as we up the tax structure on the wealthy, we'll be able to then go back to the taxing structure that the middle class had before the Republicans got a hold of it. Okay. That concludes part 1 of Spirit Guides Answer Your Political Questions. Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for watching to the bitter end of this video. I appreciate it so much. I love to read your comments. I try to respond to as many as I can. So please comment. If you have watched to this end of this video and for some reason you're not subscribed, this might be an indication that this might be a good place for you to subscribe. Otherwise, take really, really good care of yourselves. I'll be back with part 2 before you know it. And the guides want to say something about strap in. Now let's get our heads out of the gutter. Let's get our heads out. Those of you that said something else, you know who you are. Strap in because it's a roller coaster. Apparently, this is, the September 1st is tomorrow. So that means this is a roller coaster. September is a roller coaster, you guys. There's going to be more shock and awe. And I think even the guides told us a while back that even the psychics would be shocked. So I'm here for it, right? I'm here to be shocked. Let's do this thing. Let's do this September thing. And in the meantime, take really, really good care of yourselves. Okay. We'll talk soon.